You know, I tell people that I don't care um, about who is teaching the truth, right? And neither should you. You know, I have found um, truth, um, accuracies, well balanced information from many types of people, um, from so called white people, so called black people, various um, dogmatic teaching organizations that people are wrongly mislabeling today as religions. You know, as critical thinkers, as truth seekers, we should be disciplined in that mindset, in that particular behavior. You know, it shouldn't matter where the truth is coming from. See, but that does not mean, because see, to gather the truth, right, you must know where it's coming from. You know, you must know where it's coming from. Okay, you know, um, but at the same time, understand when I say that we should not care, right, about who is putting the truth out there. I'm saying that to say that just because you know, this particular group, you might be emotionally tied into a particular group that you don't like. See, because here's the thing: the word care, right? It's referring to emotions. The word care is referring to your feelings, how you feel about something. See, care. It's telling you to, or it's the act of putting yourself into a deep emotional state without reason, without critical analysis, without thinking. See, without sifting. And it causes a lot of people to throw the baby out with the bathwater. In critical thinking and not dealing with the behavior of caring, it enables you to know how to sift out information to get to the truth. See? This is the whole idea about the statement about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's telling you that because babies are precious, right? Babies are the future. It's babies. It's a life. See, so you don't want to throw that out with the dirty water. You want to have the ability to relieve, see, the baby from the bathwater. And this takes a mindset that is not bounded in the act of caring. So like I said, I don't care. I don't care about things. What I do is I take responsibility, right? And I try to find out what I can do to better myself or to better a particular thing. See, when you don't care about things and you realize, see, that your job is to take truths, take reality, take situations or issues right, problems or whatever. Your job is to recognize them, right, and to behave accordingly to them within that particular nature. If you know the nature of running water, right, and going downhill, right, then you know how to properly behave in that manner. You won't be trying to think that you're achieving something by trying to go upstream against the water. See, because you know the nature of it, because you are able to sift out, right, the truth. Truth is nature. Truth is knowing the behavior of things and how you should properly behave to bring about a certain quality or a certain way. See, so yeah, so we should not be into so that white man, the white people, saying this truth and this and that. I mean, we should not close our minds to that. So, I'm not listening to that because that's them Moors or them Hebrew Israelites or them Christians or them Muslims or them Buddhists and Democrats, Republicans, and this and that and that and that. No, you want to hear everything. See, they teach people, don't listen to the devil. Don't listen to things that are bad or negative. Don't listen. Pay no mind. See? Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. Don't try to look into that. Don't try to study that. Don't try to, investigate the nature of negativity or badness or evil. The darkness. Don't investigate that. Don't try to analyze that. Don't look into that. How can you master a thing? How can you avoid a thing? How can you control a thing if you don't know what it is? See? The only thing that hurts you in this is you not knowing the nature of something. See? That's what hurts people. See? The lack of knowledge. Not knowing. Not having the knowing of how something behaves. Because see, once you know how something behaves, then you can develop ways. Right? You can develop situations and mindsets and organizations to combat those things, to control those things, to know how and when to weave and move out the way, how to parry, how to move it. See, because you can move things, you can move them, but that can only be achieved if you have the mindset of, well, let me look into this thing, regardless of what it is, regardless of who's saying it. Let me check it out anyway. Let me see. But see, if you are in the mindset of caring, see, you can't achieve this. And and I've put out another video before on the what the meaning of caring actually is, right? Because as I'm speaking right now, I know that a lot of people are like, what? Caring? We're supposed to care. See? And never question their statement. They never question. See? They never sift out. They never say, hey, wait a second. How do I know that? How do I know that what I just said was true? I just said that we're supposed to be caring. Have I researched that word? Have I actually picked up a dictionary and look at the actual etymological meaning of that word? Because if I have not, this means that this idea was infused in my brain from somewhere, some place or some people. Someone infused this in my brain. And see? And I was never, allowed myself to even realize that it was there. The question should rise. Wow, what else? What else has been infused in my brain, in my head, that I'm not even aware that's there? Why am I making statements that I don't even know what they mean? Why am I saying this shit? Realize it's like you're saying things, right? And you don't realize that, hey, someone's manipulating you. Because, wait a second, I never learned that. I never looked up that word. I don't know what that shit means. Damn. Why am I saying this stuff? Someone is controlling me. See? You don't realize that. See? And what makes it even harder for you to realize you don't know that is that when they infuse these ideas in your brain, they cap them off with emotions of belief. And they told you and taught you that these emotions and beliefs are facts. They are actual things that have been going on for ages. This is why you say, well, I heard this all my life. My mama said it. My grandmama said it. Other people say it. I'm 56 years old. It ain't just me that say these things. I heard this for 56 years. And you cap that off as, therefore, it must be true. And never question or never develop the skill on how to question. So you never question. Wait a second. Just because something has been going on for a long period of time, right? Does that make it true? Is that connected to truth? See, or facts? Fact, the word fact, right? It means an act, right? A behavior, something that has been done. So is this is this actual? Is this a behavior, right, that is true? Is it true that just because something has been going on for years upon years, does that make something true? Now, how do you solve that problem? How do you solve that equation? How do you solve that problem? You know, if just like when you were in school, right? The math. How do you do that? Right? You study the word and you learn the nature of the word truth. See? And right, because you have an equation problem. Because you're saying that time, right? You know, oh, this has been said to me for 50 years. Everyone says this. Everyone says, hey, you know, this has been going on for a long time. You know, so you got time, and then you have the truth. Right now, you're saying, or you know, you're saying that hey, these things are equal. Truth, right, is the equivalent to this idea, right? Yeah, that hey, this thing's been going on for years. See, so you're saying that this and this truth and this behavior that you're claiming that has been going on for years, right, are equal to one another. How do you find out? How do you find out the truth? How do you find that? How do you know that that's factual? That's actual. Well, you have to know what truth is. What is truth? Truth is a form of measurement of a behavior, of a nature, of something that has a standard, something that you know that has stayed time, the test of time. For instance, the sun. Right? So we say, yeah. I look at that. I know that, right, that a certain period of time, right, you know, the sun's going to be there. See, I know in a certain period of time of the day, right, you know, what was it, 4 or 5, whatever, the sun's going to be rising, right? I know that, right, because that's a standard. What's a standard? Something that has actually occurred, right? That has given records that has occurred. That we can all document this. We can all realize, hey, everyone knows this for sure. See? Now see, that's truth. Now, does it equal out with your statement? Hey, you know, I heard this, you know, for 50, 60 years. You know, let's give it something. Let's see. Let's give it. Let's give. I'll give it. Let's make something up. Let's say. Oh, I've heard for 50, 60 years that the devil's a liar. You know, right? You know. Does that statement equal up with truth? Is that a balanced equation? So now you know what truth is. Now you go back and you look at that statement, because it has to balance out with truth. So we know truth is what we actually know beyond a shadow of a doubt that occurs or occurred or happens, right? And we can measure that. We can actually measure it in various ways. Okay, can we do it with this statement? Hey, the devil's a liar, and I heard this for 50, 60 years. Is that factual? Is that, a standard? Is that, a principle? Is that, a consistency? Is that an actual fact? Is that something that is actually, true? And when you study that statement, when you study that equation now, when you study that half of the equation, right, and you go look up the word devil, right, and you say, right, so you go look up the word devil, and when you look at the word devil, right, it's going to tell you that the word devil, it means it's a form of a scandal, right? To put information out, to make claims, to make statements, broad ideas, right? That are not true, accurate, right? These statements are partial, right? Because the whole purpose of making these statements, right, or being devilish or devil, is to slander. Slander. See, we go look at the word devil. I mean, the word given to it is slander. So understand, slander is when you just put partial truths, half truths, twisted information, right? You're just putting things out there. Why? What's the purpose of slandering? To give lack of credibility to something. You want to cause doubt about something. So you put out, just stuff. I think I heard some years ago that one of the legal terms that they use for that is they call it throwing what do you call it, oatmeal, something like that. Throwing some oatmeal on the wall and hoping that it sticks. So what you're doing, you're just throwing stuff out there. Right, that's also another word for devil. It means to throw stuff out. Just putting stuff out with the hope that it will cause doubt. That's all. You're not concerned, if someone realizes it's a lie or the truth or not. Your job is just to create doubt, to make people wonder. Hey, wait a second. So you see. So now that's what the devil is. Okay, so what's the other part of that? Oh, the devil's a liar. Okay, what's a lie? A lie is an attempt to mislead someone. To guide someone in another direction other than to guide someone in another direction away from their actual intended path. They're trying to go this way. Their mind, I want the truth. I want the truth. I want to go this way. See, but a lie is designed to push you off. See, of that particular path. So, does that part of the equation, the devil's a liar, equal truth? Standard. Something that hasn't changed, something that doesn't change. It's been this way. It's actually been this way forever. So, does the truth balance out when we say, hey, the devil's a liar, and it's always been that way? And hey, so I'm accepting that as being true. See, so I just gave you an example on how to balance out or formulate an equation. One side has to balance out with the other side, and see, this is the act of sifting. See, so when you are able to do that, right? So let me answer that, and you should already answered it, right? You should have already answered that. Yes, we have balanced out the equation. The equation is true. True means to be level. So this claim, the devil's a liar, and hey, I heard it all my life, and this and that and that and that, it does balance out with truth. So so things like that. So and you should be able to take that equation with something that is on both sides. You should be able to argue, right, for something and against something. What they say. See, you should know how to argue. You should know how to be the devil's advocate. Okay, you should be able to be a counselor for falsehood, for lies. You should be able to be a counselor for the devil, or on that side. Just as you should be able to be a counselor on the other side. See, because when you're able to do that, that gives you the discipline, right? This gives you, the wisdom now on how to sift and not throw the baby out with the bathwater. See, because you can see both sides. You understand the nature of both sides. See, because here's the truth. We live in a duality system, right? We all know that. That's what makes it the truth. We all know it. Because we can't escape that truth. Because when we look in the mirror, we see it. 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 hands. Daytime, nighttime, cold, hot, up, down, left, right. That's the truth. Right? That's the truth. You know. So, this is the system we live in. So this duality system applies to every part of our lives. It's infused in everything. You can't get around. You can't get away from it. See? So there's always going to be lies and truths. There's always going to be good people and evil people. See? So there's no such thing. This is not real. This is not true. We got to get rid of evil. One day, evil is going to be defeated. No. No. And see? And how do we know this? How do we know these things? You know it by studying the nature of the thing that you're referring to. What is the nature of the word evil? What does it mean? See, nature means, when I say what is the nature of it, nature means what it actually is, how it behaves, what does it do, how does it affect you. The word evil, it means to misunderstand something. It means to go outside of the nature of something. It means to misuse something. See, it means to behave in a way that is not congruent of the way it should be done. If you you can't put your finger in the light socket. You can't put your finger, well, you can't even want to, right? But you can't put your hand under the stove, the lit stove, because it's going to burn you. There are certain natures, there are certain behaviors that you should not go beyond and underdo it. See, it goes both ways. You should not overdo something, and you should not underdo it. They're going to cause the same type of effect. It's not going to work. It has to be done in the way that it was meant to be done. See, when you don't do that, that's what evil is. See? Wow. Pick your dictionary up. The joy and what I'm sharing with you is that all we do is talking about words. We're just talking about words, and we can just go look them up. See, rather than going on what we've been told all our lives. Hey, how much did this? I think this cost me like $7, right? A second-hand dictionary, $7. Come on, you can have it in your home. Go just look up these things, and then then the trick is with that. We've been taught, well, we haven't been taught how to use these books. And now, all you got to do, right? We know, right? That in most books, right? In the beginning of the book, right? They tell you about the book, right? Especially dictionaries and reference books. They in the front of those first couple of pages, right? They tell us how to use the book. That's all you need now. See, because we know. I'm telling you that we've been lied to. We've been misinformed. Just like I told us, the word noun. The word noun, we've been misinformed. We've been told that a noun is a person. We've been told that a noun is a place, a thing. And that's not true. A noun is a name. It's a name. It's a name of a person. Kisron Israel. That's my name. I am not a noun. See? So, if they did that, if they misinformed us with that basic primary information that we need to be able to read, you must know what a noun is and how to use it to be able to read, If you thinking that a noun is a person, a place, or a thing, then you have not gained the ability to read. See? And a noun is a part of grammar, but the noun is the foundation of reading. See? And that's the truth. That's what they did. It's true. They lied to us. So, knowing that, just the word noun that they lied to us about, right? Now you say, wait a second. How do I overcome this? How do I teach myself the truth on how to research words? Well, we talking about words, right? We talking about words, see? And again, the whole purpose of this video here, right? I'm trying to say, don't get into, Webster. Did you know about this guy and this and that? I'm not doing that. No. We're not talking about Webster or Oxford or Cambridge. No. We're talking about knowing words. We're talking about knowing and gaining truth, information, truth. We're not concerned about who's giving it. You know what I'm saying? We're concerned about, hey, is it true? Is it true? That's all. Is it true? That's all. So right there, how do you teach yourself now? How do you overcome this? Because I'm assuming that people would be thinking this way. Damn, okay, I realize, yeah, they did lie to us on these words and stuff, but how do we reinform us? How do we get this? How do we teach ourselves? Well, right there in the beginning of the book, those first couple of pages, they tell you how to use the book. They tell you how to learn about words. They tell you the history of words, everything, right there in the front of the book. So get you a paperback dictionary like this, and put your time into those pages that tell you how to use the book. Don't focus on right now. Looking up words. Focus on learning about the history of words. See, right there when it tells you how to use a dictionary and stuff like that, they're telling you etymology. They're telling you the history of words. How did words come about? How did these words come about? See? What is grammar? How to study grammar. Right there in the front of the book, they give you all that stuff. You have to have that down. And then, like, when the different symbols and stuff. Why they put a a period here? Why did they put a comma there? You know, what are those 3 dots? Those 3 periods. Why did they put 3 little periods there? What are they used for? See? What are these, you know, different marks and stuff? What are they called? See? And, yeah. Because then after that, then you know, because see, that puts, see, it, you have to be rewired. See, when you do it like the way I'm sharing with you, you're rewiring your mind. Okay? Now, when you do it like this, right, every time you hear a word, or every time you think about researching a word, you're going to have these principles in your head like that. You're going to know. So you're going to take it, you're going to not be caring. You're not going to put any care into it. Right? What you're going to put into it is study. You're going to analyze it. So you're going to be serious. See, serious is not being careful. Careful, right, tells you, oh, don't be serious. Be emotional. I ain't trying to get down on no damn white man. No, what's the this and that, and you know. See? Well, I learned in school all my life, hey, I'm saying, you know, and this is what I hear all my life, hey, a noun is a person, place, or thing. That's what I was taught. And why should I change? See? That's caring. Caring means to be overwhelmed with emotions. Caring means to just be emotional. You know, I ain't trying to think. I'm not trying to reason. I'm not trying to examine anything. I don't want to examine that. I'm saying, you know, it's too painful. Too much work. See? And you never think about, damn, is it too much work? Is it too painful? Where did I get that from? Wow. So you never question, hey, wait a second. Where did I get these ideas from? You know, wait a second. So it just came out my mouth that reading words or learning how to use a dictionary, it's painful and it's too much work. But, you know, wait a second. I just read that magazine. I just read this book. You know, you got a book that you like reading, you know, a book that you always want to read, and this a magazine or something, you know you can read like a whole bunch of, you know, you can read like 5 pages straight up. You can read 5, and you enjoy it. There's some books you just, wow, I finished that book so quick. Wow, you know. You were reading. It wasn't painful. It wasn't hard. And you can probably time yourself. Pick a book that you like and read 3 pages and time yourself. Right? And wow, wait a second. You know, and then, right, you probably even say, hey, wait a second, I can do that fast. I could have did that faster too. Let me see. See, and you time yourself again. Wow, I was more faster this time. Hey, wait a second. I just did the same thing, right, that I would do if I was learning how to use a dictionary. Right, I would read. Wait a second. What's the difference between reading my favorite magazine right? And reading how to use a dictionary. Wow. See? Like, wow. Wait a second. Where did that idea come from? Where did that idea come from? Or the ideas that it's painful. It's too much work. See? Where did these emotions come from? Wow, wait a second. And if you're being truthful to yourself, you say, wait a second. I didn't put that in my head. I don't remember putting that in my head. Someone or people told me that. I heard this stuff. This is what I heard. Wait a second, because it can't be true, because the same ability and energy that I need to read my favorite magazine is the same thing I would do to learn how to use that dictionary. So these ideas of, oh, it's too painful, it's too much work, it's not true. Wow, where did I get this? Damn. And you know something? I have met people. I have actually met people that have told me that they have went mad. They have went mad, realizing that things were in their head that they didn't put there, that they even, program. These are, see, and we throw around we throw around this reality. We throw it around. Oh, we've been programmed, and this is a system. The system did it, and this and that and that and that. So we throw around that reality. We know it's true, but we throw it around, and we are emotional about it. We get all bothered. We get all caring. We get all caring about it. See? It's like when you realize something that's been bad for you, right? You get all emotional, right? Fear is an emotion. Pain is an emotion. And these emotions are okay. It's just how you're using them, and are you able to control them? Because fear is meant to protect you from harm. The actual behavior of fear, the purpose of fear is to say to you or make you conscious. Wait. Right. Yellow stop sign. The yellow. Caution. Fear is designed, the purpose of fear is to put up that yellow sign. Caution. Fear is designed, the purpose of it is to cause you to question. Right? To say, hey, wait a second. I don't want to do that. It's just See? That's the purpose of fear. See? So these emotions, right, that we have, a lot of us are using them the wrong way. Because you can't get rid of emotions. And why do people think that they're bad or harmful? Because the way we're using them. For years, I used to wonder, before I begin to actually study it. So, you know, it's so crazy. It's like damn. Now I said, damn, why I just didn't look a word up. If you're wondering about something, go check it out, right? Go check it out, you know. But yeah, for years I was wondering that biblical. It said the fear of God is the what's it? Fear of God is the wisdom. I forget how it goes. Wisdom, something like that, you know. Let me. Yeah, so I paused it for a minute. So I wanted to get the that biblical scripture about fear. So like I said, for years I used to wonder what this meant. Why does it say that? What's it? Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." You know, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. I said, wait a second, fear? Why is it saying, you know, fear is the beginning of knowledge? Why was, you know, why was fear? Why is fear the beginning of knowledge? I'm like, whoa, you know, see, so, you know, see, and I understand, it should dawn on you. I mean, all you gotta do is say, hey, wait a second, let me look the word up. I mean, I have had, you know, people that I was teaching these things. And I had them here, right? And I had like a desk, like, so I had like 3 students. And I put a dictionary down in front of them. So each of them had a dictionary, right, in front of them. And, you know, I would say these things like this, right? And I was like, you know, without telling them, right? Because I was trying to get them to realize the psyche, how they were programmed, you know, in certain ways, right? On how not to look up words. They don't want how not to crack open that dictionary. You know. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, man, you know, what does that word mean? I wonder what that word means. You guys, you wonder what that word means? Yeah. They'd be like, yeah, I wonder what that word means too. They're all wondering. But they have a dictionary right there in front of them. So I would do this experiment. You know, I do this experiment several times. I'm like, wow. And I would go on, right? And I would even give physical suggestions. I would like, you know, say these things, and I would like, yeah. I would look down. I would look into their eyes, and I would look down, glance down briefly at the dictionary. Yeah. And I can see that some of them, right, caught it. Some of us, he want me to open that dictionary up. But they would not do it. You know? And I will also use, like, the tactile, you know, clues. I would, you know, tap the table, you know. There's 3 of them there. Like, yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, yeah. You know, right by them. I would walk by them, right, you know, where their dictionary's at. Yeah, here, wow. See? But we have been deeply programmed, right, you know, not to use the proper skills on how to learn something. You know, if you are wondering about something, or if you don't know something, or you're questioning something, well, the obvious thing to do is to study that something. See? And yeah, like I was saying earlier, I've known people who just went mad. When they realize that I don't know how to, this is, like the movie The Matrix, and how Morpheus was telling Neo, like, hey, normally, right, we don't, attempt to wake people up, right, in the later stages of their development, because they're not ready for it. And they didn't get into what that actually meant. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, some people will just commit suicide. I mean, this is a serious thing. Some people have killed themselves because they realized that they've been lied to all their lives. Damn. Imagine this. I mean, damn. They told us, so-called black folk, right? They told us that, hey, they brought us here to the Americas on boats. And that we Africans, and every February they proliferate this falsehood. And all of it's a lie. Now imagine you becoming aware of this. And you think about now, right? Now you sit back and you say, well, damn, my mother, my grandparents, what they went through, some of them believing this lie, and some of them being affected in their community, in their families with this lie. Because because you can know something you can know a reality, right? So you can know that all that stuff is nonsense, but you're surrounded by people that believe it. They live it. They are carers. They care about it. See? And they will kill you. They will attack you. They will ostracize you. They will blackball you because you say and you thinking otherwise. So, you think about that. So, wow, think about all those people that knew the truth. And, they went through hell by family members and loved ones that were stuck. They were stuck in the matrix. They were plugged in. They were agents. Because they cared. See, they are emotionally embedded into these things. So you think about all that stuff. You put all that stuff together, and you're like, damn, you mean to tell me I wasted all my life, Man, shoot, it was this pretty girl, like she was pretty. She had a lovely demeanor about her, right? When I was younger, right? And I would have married that girl. You know, and she liked me. I liked her, but she was a Jehovah's Witness, and she told me that our relationship could never happen because she's a Jehovah's Witness. You know, and now today I'm like, wow, man. You know, I wonder sometimes where she's at, because I'm like, wow. Because of these dogmatic teachings that some of you are wrongly mislabeling today as religions, you know, certain people can't do certain things, the natural things. You know, people are dying and killing one another. That they're, you know, I mean, over that particular lie, those dogmatic teachings, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, just those right there, causing so much harm. You know, people cannot do the natural things. Two people, you know, are heavily attracted to one another, but yeah, can't get together because of some teachings, some ideas that were put into their brains that go against the natural orders of things. You know, and like I said, you know, people have gone mad, you know, because of this, because they realize that all that they just been, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. You know. Yeah. So yes, like I said, I used to wonder that, wow, why is that word, you know, how does that equate? You know, fear to knowledge. How is fear, right? How does fear enable the foundation or the basis of knowledge? Wow. Because when you look up the meaning of fear, its actual meaning, fear is a state of mind of study. It's a state of mind that causes you to analyze. Fear is a state of mind that causes you to review things. View, to look at. See, wait a second. Hey, let me look at this thing. Let me check this thing out. See, and remember, Evidence means to see. Evidence is the act of using your eyes. That's what evidence is. Evidence means to look at something or to review something with your eyes. Period. See? Investigators, detectives. See? To learn, to figure out what happened. See? Fact. The word fact, it means an act. An act. Something that happens or happened is a fact. An act. So to know the act, to know what occurred, you must use your eyes. Evidence. review, to see it with your eyes. And obviously, right, your eyes, obviously we're actually talking about studying, right, or thinking, or right, because the eyes is connected to the mind. When you're looking at something that has occurred, right, what are you doing when you're looking, or what should you be doing when you're looking? You should be looking for patterns. Okay? You do. Okay? I see the blood spatters. I see certain patterns. You're looking for conditions. What are the conditions? Or what were the conditions when this act, right, or when this thing occurred, or when this thing happened? What was there? What was there? See? Who was there? What time of day was it? I mean, you're taking notice. See? You're taking notice, right? Evidence, notice, right? You're looking at, right, the nature of things. See? You're looking at the nature, the behavior of things. So you got to know how things behave. Because that's wisdom. Wisdom, right, is, where's it at? Yeah. With a wise, yeah, but wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom is the principal thing. Principle means nature. Principle, the actual behaviors, the actual movers. It's like you know how I learned that word? Like watching boxing, right? And they would say, like when the main event, and they would use a word, and let us, the announcer would say, okay, here are the principles, and they would introduce both fighters. So, right, they use the word principle to represent both. So what is that? Why is that? So, because that's the main characters. That's the act. See, the act, the action, the act, the fact, the act, the actual thing that's occurring or occurred. So when I realized, about, hey, when I taught myself, hey, I study words, then I took that experience and I looked for the word, right? Principle, right? And I seen, wisdom. Yeah, look at the word principle. And you go, wisdom. And then you verify it by look up the word wisdom. So you see wisdom, it is the principal things. You'll see that, Okay. Mind you again, right? I am not a Bible thumper. Okay? This is again why I say that you should not care where the truth is coming from. And you should be able to sift out, right, information. You take what you need and you disregard the rest. But you should never throw the baby out with the bathwater. You should never, just because you know something, a particular book or whatever. If you know a person that he's always lying. But that does not mean, and you should never fix your brain to say, I ain't listening to him. Because again, when you know nature of things, when you know the principles, when you know the way things behave, you will know that truth is always inside of lies. That's the way things are. That's the way it is. Truth is always in the lies. Always there. The evidence, right? If the accurate information, right, it's always in the words, right? The nature, the truth is, the nature of something is always in the study the statements. If someone says something, right, study what they say. If you study every word that they say, because the truth is in there. That's the way things. That's the nature of things. Is in there. So, you just have to know how to sift it out. And man, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I mean, I wish that I would like to have people here with me talking like right here and talking about these things, because it's more easier and it's more beneficial. You can actually see more, and you can gain more information when people are talking in the present. Because I used to watch like Columbo and Columbo. I don't know if you guys don't know, like a detective show. He's a detective, and I even and like Sherlock Holmes, stuff like that, and like Sherlock Holmes, remember they was always like, put him up like he was like he can figure out anything. And you have various detectives. Some people are better at it than others. But what makes a good detective? What makes a good sifter? Those that learn, practice the nature of things. See, those people that understand and know. I mean, when I say understand, see, the word understand, it means, stand. The word stand means principle. It means truth. Okay, truth is a form of measurement. It's a ruler. Okay? And it measures things that are consistent and have been consistent. Okay? This is what the word real means. Real. Okay? And then under that, right, is the nature of how something began, or it's able to stand, or it's able to be true. You know what I'm saying? Or real. How did this thing become real? How does realness develop? See, where did it come from? See? Under. So, what's under the stand? Nature. Nature. What is nature? Nature is the behavior of things. Nature is the movement of things. Nature is the actual occurrence of things. Nature is the fundamental or the foundational principles, the rules, basic laws, common laws. So, when you understand, when you are knowledgeable about those behaviors, that's what makes you, that's what distinguishes a good sifter, a good detective, a good studier. Because, so many examples. Like I said, it's exciting to have people to sit down and talk to with these things. There's so many examples. Let's take out Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. What made Bruce Lee a greater fighter than others? He realized the nature of things. When you if you go and listen to some of the interviews with him, and how he broke down the nature of water, right, and how he was describing what fighting actually is, and you notice that he was not using any of the normal terminologies that we use in fighting and stuff like that, right? He was more into the terminology, more psychological terms, scientific terms, mathematical terms. See? Because those tools, psychology, mathematics, right? Physics, right? These are tools of how to study and know the nature of things. And remember, see, when you go look at the word math, it means to study. It means the science of. And the word science, it means simply to know. It doesn't tell you how to know. It says science, it means to know. See, now all you need to be informed is that there are many ways of knowing something. See, but once you know, the word science, it just means to know, then when you hear people trying to be specific, knowing is being able to regurgitate some words in some books that some other people wrote years ago, or this and that. See? No. That's one piece of knowing. That's not all that. No. See? There's many ways in which you know or can know things. See? So yeah, Bruce Lee. Like wow. How did he become a greater fighter than others? Knowing studying the nature and behaviors of things. I used to go to Taekwondo tournaments, right? And I used to see like two black belts fighting. I'm like, wait a second, they learn the same thing. How does one beat the other? When you know the nature of the particular thing. If I know that the physics of my elbow, my arm, if I know the joints and the way they bend, and I practice that nature, right? And then because if I'm truly practicing that nature, then it's going to take me into, hey, the nature of my shoulder. And then, I realize, it's going to take you, now you have to realize, hey, wait a second, I just can't study the elbow. I'm like, wow, the whole anatomy of the body. Now you got to go and you got to become a practitioner of the nature of the body. And you're going to start with, the way in which the body moves. And you're going to become sufficient in that. You're going to become skilled in that. You're going to become, meticulously aware. And when you're able to be like that, this gives you the edge. Because see, now you're in a total different mindset. Say, if you're a martial artist, right, and you're going into a fight, or a boxer, this puts you in a whole different mindset. You're not even thinking about, your opponent, or winning a belt, or money. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like Neo when he realized who he was, and he's fighting, right, Smith, and he just used one hand. It's gonna be boring to you. It's gonna be slow motion. Cause see, you'll be able to predict. You'll be able to predict all your moves. You'll just know how you're moving. And it's amazing. And there is no ending to this information of self or the information of physics. There's no ending to it. So even like, when you're in a battle with someone in a match, you're constantly learning. You're teaching. I have, you say, hey, I just realized something. So you learn different things. It's come to you. Wow. Yeah. But oh man. Hey, let me finish this off. Cause I'm, anyway. So yeah. So I just want to share this reality. This is real. Imagine now if we start to practice things like this, and you can learn. I mean, man, whatever. Wow. Teacher. Wow. Anyway, so I just want to share this with you guys. So yeah, we have to be sifters. We have to not throw the baby out the bathwater. I mean, we have to learn how to not be carers and practice being sifters. Alright? So let me go. And again, as always, this is our true history, language and culture.